So, Eamon de Valera. What do I think of him? From what I seen on OT the other night, which was no place for women, which was about the women who didn't get the equal rights they were supposed to do, which should have been given by the Free State Ireland at the time after it gained its independence in the 1930, around the 1930s. The women should have got their right and not been thrown into laundry homes and being arrested for having a baby without getting married. Because the church was, suppose, more powerful than the government of Ireland. And was more powerful than the state. And President Eamon de Valera, who was the president the Taoiseach, and then he became president. So he was in politics for a long time in Ireland. And that's the reason why the church really succeeded, because he was in a high area of the politics. So he became Taoiseach, and he let the church off with actually murder. And when the war came around, World War II, the 1930s, the Constitution of Ireland was drawn up, which Eamon de Valera was the Taoiseach at the time, and the Emergency Powers Act was put into place because of the World War. And the Constitution of Ireland was kind of, not the best. The women wasn't really. It was said women's places in the home. That's basically what they were trying to say. Or in laundries and all that. That's what it basically said, and they're trying to remove that still in the Constitution. But Eamon de Valera was so stuck up with the church, he met with them to meet with them about the Constitution, what to put into the Constitution, which was really the biggest, stupidest move he ever done. If he thought killing Michael Collins, because he definitely had involved with Michael Collins' death. He thought killing Michael Collins would turn the Irish people against him. He turned the Irish people against them by going to the church and literally like, what should I put into here? And then just licking up to the church. Absolutely licking up to them. Literally everything the church wanted in Ireland. And I say if a priest was accused of raping a child or anything, it was just thrown out the door. It was literally, you lying. Whoever said that the church was doing that, you'd be sent to prison, you'd be locked up for... You could be sent to prison for life. For not just getting married and having a child without being married. That's the way the Free State operated. You were thrown into a prison or a mental asylum. They're throwing some women into mental asylums for no pound reason, just because they had a child because they didn't get married. That's how bad the state was when Eamon de Valera was president. And that's all because he was the president. And Taoiseach. Because he was over it. And he had the power to say to the church, no, this is my country, my rules, and if you don't like it, go back to Rome, and you can do everything in Rome you want. But no, he let the church off for murder, and he kind of probably got little kicks from it, because the church were probably giving them little salaries here and there. But the church was higher than the state, that's what I'm trying to say. The Catholic Church was higher than the state, and higher than the government itself. And that really said something for back then. I mean, in alternative history, Michael Collins survived, who was the greatest leader in Ireland, who didn't ever become president or Taoiseach, but who was the greatest Irish revolutionary ever. Eamon de Valera I give him a bit of credit now, because during the war, he kind of kept Ireland very neutral, which was a good thing to do, because we lost so many people in the Civil War and the War of Independence, and the Irish people literally didn't want to fight any wars that they didn't, like Ireland didn't get into any trouble. Ireland didn't start World War One, World War Two, sorry. It didn't start. Ireland didn't even fire a shot in it. But Eamon de Valera kind of fucked himself up too with the Offences Against the State Act, which means that the IRA were, which meant the IRA were, what's the word I could use? Terrorists. That's the kind of the word he kind of used. So the Offences Against the State Act, if you remember of the IRA, you were sent to prison. He shot a good lot of IRA prisoners and IRA people, just because he felt they were a threat. And because the raid on the magazine fort in Dublin, which they took 1 million ammunition over the Irish Defence Forces, to use against the British Army, or I don't know what they were trying to use it for, but I think they were trying to use it in case Germany invaded, because that's what they were afraid of. And Eamon de Valera had none of them, literally probably executed everybody who was along them. But Eamon de Valera was the worst president. That kind of thing I give him. I give him that bit of credit for keeping Ireland out of the war and fighting in 1960. I give him that tiny bit of credit. But what he done to let the church just run away with their wildest dreams was ridiculous. I mean, you can't let the church off for murder. And still nowadays, the government don't even want to hear about what the church done, because there's so much mother and baby homes. They were the absolute devils. They were like Auschwitz in Germany. I say they got better treatment in Auschwitz than they did in their mother and baby homes. And these were nuns that were in the mother and baby homes, and they were treating women like shit. And the babies that died at birth were just thrown into a grave, left, and just someone was just found a few years. This is last year in Galway, and loads of babies, 100 and something babies found. And there was nothing ever said about it. There was no records ever kept by the church. They were literally like just forgotten about. No gravestone, right? Just found in the grounds of it. And the church never commented. The Pope never commented on it. Or nobody ever said boo about it. Because the church just didn't want to talk about it. Because they lost their power. And that's the thing about this. They lost their power. When Eamon de Valera went out of office, everything kind of collapsed in the state. Because everybody was like, contraception's allowed now. And that was nearly when Eamon de Valera died and all that. Because it only took for him to die to kind of move Ireland on a tiny bit. Because he was like, I understand he wanted to keep ancient traditions, but Jesus Christ, letting the church off with absolutely criticising and murder. Literally, it was just murder for the church. And if you said boo against the church, they'd make an absolute hell of you. You know what I'm saying? They only cared about money and power. That's all they cared about. And they didn't care less about women. You go by the law of the church was more powerful than the law of the land. And Eamon de Valera should have said to the Pope or said to the High Priest of Ireland, look at here, lad. I'm the president or I'm the Taoiseach. And you're not forbidden to do this in this country. You can go somewhere else and do it. But you're not doing it in my country. And that's what Michael Collins would have done. He would have said, go away or I'll kill you all. They were the priests and the bishops, because they were literally Hitler and they were literally Nazis. That's basically what I'm trying to say. There were some good ones, but there was a lot of bad ones. So yeah, Eamon de Valera was not the best president of Ireland. So yeah, thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and bye.